Hey loves, so today I want to do a bit of a different kind of video and talk about karmic natal placements. So I've talked about karmic connections in synastry a lot. Now I want to talk about placements in the natal chart that I feel are karmic. Now, with that being said, I don't mean karmic in a negative sense, although it can definitely show that the life experiences are difficult and we do have a bit of past life karma carried over. I also mean karma in the sense of being a very old soul. And here's the thing, old souls choose to take on more difficult or more karmic placements in order to master these soul lessons. So the first thing that I'll mention is 6th or 12th house placements can be very karmic, especially if there's a stellium in either of these houses. It does tend to show that there's karmic energy. There's mental attitudes to be worked on and overcome because there can be a lot of fears and a lot of mental anguish when we have 6th or 12th house placements. The 12th house tends to be more unconscious to us and more the appearance of things from the outside world, like attacking us. Whereas the 6th house, we are more aware that our own mental attitudes are perhaps inhibiting us, but it doesn't make it any easier. The antidote to 6th or 12th house natal placements is service. When we focus on service to others, we overcome the mental suffering or the emotional suffering that these placements can sometimes show. The next placement that I will say is Saturn in the 4th, 8th, or 12th house, with the 12th possibly being the most karmic, but Saturn in any of the watery houses can show karma and difficulty that has been chosen to go through in this lifetime. The 4th is going to be related to healing family lineage energy, what's been passed on from the family line. And the 8th is going to be dealing with deep psychological or sexual issues or relationship issues. There's going to be soul mate relationships, karmic relationships that will bring karma. And then the 12th house Saturn placement is going to show mental anguish and emotional suffering and a feeling of isolation, which can eventually be overcome through service. Now, Chiron in any of those watery houses, 4th, 8th, or 12th, can be karmic, but specifically the 8th is the most karmic, I feel, as far as there is baggage with relationships and sexual relationships and a need to overcome karmic energies that bring great pain through intimacy and through relationships. Now, this one is kind of obvious, or maybe it's not obvious to everybody, but planets at the 29th degree of any sign are extremely karmic because this is the finale. This is the final degree before we move on to the new beginning, which is like the fresh, like clean slate. So you could really say that the 29th degree carries the most karmic baggage. So you want to look at that planet as something very significant, as a lesson, and that sign as a deep lesson for this person to master and learn in this lifetime. And it's definitely not easy. Probably the most karmic would be Saturn or Pluto at the 29th degree because those planets tend to show a lot of our karma. And so Saturn and Pluto at the 29th degree can show that this is a very important lifetime for the person to overcome karma. Okay, now this has to be emphasized, but planets at the 29th degree of Pisces are the most karmic of all because Pisces is the last sign. So the 29th degree of Pisces holds a very special karmic significance. This can show that someone is an extremely old soul with much ancient wisdom because Pisces at the 29th is like the oldest energy, but it also shows the most karmic baggage. potentially a lot of emotional suffering, and it's just like you're so close to the new beginning, but in order to get there, there's a lot of emotional work and spiritual work or healing work to be done. Now, planets conjunct the south node are also very karmic. So, whenever there's a planet conjunct the south node in our natal chart, it shows that that planet carries over a baggage from other lifetimes. It's almost like overdeveloped. It's like you definitely need to learn how to not overuse or overdo the energies of that planet, and there can be extremely karmic situations in regard to that energy. This is another sort of obvious one, but planets in detriment or planets in fall. Now, I've talked about karma a lot in this video. I want to just briefly touch on a more positive karma. It does seem like I've talked about more of the difficult karmic placements. I don't label anything positive or negative in my work, but there are placements that show more difficulty, and that'll be those that I've just said. Now, to touch on positive karma, I would say planets that are in the sign of their rulership or exaltation would show a positive karmic carryover from another lifetime. Lastly, your trines. Your trines in your natal chart are pointing to lessons from past lifetimes that you've learned and that you are here to reap the rewards of. So your trines need to be studied just as much as your hard aspects because they flow so easily that you can miss them. But trines definitely show good karma carried over from other lifetimes and lessons learned. That's it for today. Thanks for watching this video. Love you guys so much.